Dave, I don't know too much about him being an expert on polishing jasper, but I guess he's going to tell us about that. And Beth, Dr. Simmons, knows, since she knows most everything about most all kinds of rocks, I'm sure she can shed some good light on some things about jasper too.
Can we get a, okay, we're given a little baggie. Just turn a chair around and make a table, and these are, you can lay them out on the chair in alphabetical order, and you have a list of everything in there. I got this idea for a program from Blackstone Lapidary at our last show. They had all these Jaspers for sale, and I realized that some of them maybe weren't Jaspers. But anyway, I thought, well, we've never had a program on Jasper, and it's so common. So we put this together, and Jaspers are multicolored, hard materials made of silica. It forms in volcanic areas. That's the important part. I'm sorry, Ron, I'm boring you already.
Ron's had a long day. I'm staying with you, Beth. I'm okay.
You don't get jasper back east where there's no volcanism. We get jaspers here in the west. And I picked out some pictures off the internet. You need lots of water, lots of silica, and it dries up. And you need another substance that a lot of geologists don't acknowledge. And that's called silica-fixing bacteria. Bacteria pull that stuff out of the water. And of course it petrifies wood. And in your kit you have a piece of petrified wood from Parker. Jasper is usually opaque, meaning you can't see through it. Agate is translucent. You can see through agate, usually. Some agates you can't. But you can figure this out when you look at your specimen. You might call it a high-grade chert or flint. And of course we know that the natives used chert or flint for millennia. And I have some in my kitchen from Ohio. Good old Flint Ridge chert. But you can put your specimens in alphabetical order because that's the way I do it in the program. And the bottom one says it's usually well colored, and people like it for gemstone purposes, and have liked it for gemstone purposes since Roman days, since the native days. So what colors causes the colors? I took this from a 1942. Think about that. Rock and gem, that's older than I am. No way.
It is not.
Okay, that's a older rock and gem. It's
How old is
some
that?
impurity. It might be iron. What?
How old is that? I'm just, inquiring minds want to know. We're the same age. So.
Yes, thank you.
I'm just
You're
pretty.
getting hit from behind. Anyway, some kind of metallic salts with iron and manganese, usually. Iron is the dark color, manganese is black. Usually iron oxides give us reds and browns. Ferrous iron salts are greens, faded dull greens. Uranium salts are yellow, not to be messed with. And pyrolusite or manganese, that's another black dendritic markings. And we're going to see some. Okay, where can you find it? All over, even here in Colorado, even in Bear Creek. It comes down out of the mountains. It's volcanic. We have volcanoes right out there. Pete was hiking on one. Was that last night, Pete?
Yeah, last night.
Yeah, posted some pictures on Facebook. California, of course. Lots of places in California. Orbicular jasper with the little round circles. I think there's some orbicular in your set. San Francisco, when they dug out the Golden Gate Bridge, they hit jasper. In Oregon, lots of jasper in Oregon, bright bright greens and reds. Idaho. Idaho is the gem state. It's because of Jasper. And I just posted some pictures here of different kinds of Idaho jasper. Lots of different colors, lots of different names. Most of the names of jaspers come from the location, but some don't. Different varieties of jasper. Astro jasper or star jasper. All of these different kinds. Those 6 you don't have in your sets. I put those pictures in because they look like George's round things.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So we'll start at the beginning with Astro Jasper. It's mostly from Arizona. So the next one you'll have is Biggs. Biggs Jasper is very common, commonly sold. And Dave will pass pieces around, polished pieces, Biggs Jasper.
Is that an implement, a chipstone implement there?
It comes in golds, browns, ebonies, almost wooden. It looks like petrified wood. Lots of intricate patterns. And it was first discovered, believe it or not, in 1960 from Biggs Junction in Oregon. So that's where it got its name. And of course, that's volcanic. So lots of volcanic ash, lots of basalt terrain, and then he wrote it out. I don't know what your little piece of Biggs Jasper looks like, but you should have one. But they're passing one around. So here comes Dave with, how do you work this stuff?
Careful.
He's going to divulge some secrets.
Beth, quick question before, I was just wondering, so do you basically identify jasper more by sight, or is it a certain pattern that you see?
Well,
or does it look very much like agate, or are you able to differentiate by looking at it?
Agate, we look for translucency, okay?
But nothing in the pattern itself.
But the
No.
pattern, jasper doesn't have to have patterns, it can be solid. But in that book, of course, it's going to have patterns.
Right.
But patterns,
They can be any color. What you said there, when I pick up a stone, I look at it and see if it's agate or jasper.
Right.
And usually, I can tell either one pretty easy.
Right.
But more because it's translucent, is that more what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, these are all jaspers too.
Straight up
you want me to walk them around?
Yeah,
Go up for now.
these are all jaspers too.
And they're opaque because they've got more impurities in them.
Did you guys see this one?
There's more, whatever gives it the color, there's more of that in. Why are they more opaque?
Yeah, that's my easy answer. But yeah.
Okay, it's just got more stuff in it.
Yeah,
Why?
there's-
Why? That was the question.
This is another, I mean, there's a lot of jaspers, all kinds of jaspers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They came this way, so I'm going.
But the way I do jaspers or my stones
Do you want to
mainly,
use this?
no, I'll do that. But the way I do jaspers is a real simple stone. You get a piece of rock, and you can do it any color you want, and you can use these patterns. You can use any kind of patterns you want. I like to use just a free form. But anyway, I cut it out, and the saws just cut straight pieces. But anyway, this is part of what it looks like once you cut it out. But anyway, I have a oval circle in here, which is fine. Anyway, you grind it down and make sure you get it kind of this shape. Kind of the back shape of that one. But you have to grind it down pretty good. Anyway, grinding it down takes a lot of practice too. And a lot of times you want a thicker stone so you can kind of curve the top edge of it. And a lot of times you cut off a little bit, not a whole lot, but just kind of round the top form of it. Anyway, once you finish doing that, it's an easy process, but I'm telling you, it takes a little while. Once it's round, get a straight piece all the way around, and you'll have the oval shape on the top of it. And once you do that, I go from, when I start doing stones, I usually have a rough edge on it. And I do all my rough cutting on one machine. And a lot of people do it on the other kinds of machines. But I do everything on one machine, cut it down, grind it down, and even oval it on the top. And once you finish doing that, I go to 600. I go to about for 600, and I finish polishing all that. And I'm making it easy, but 600 is all I use. After the 600, then I go to polishing.
Scratches.
Do you have Ed Rimmer at Jasper?
You can't see scratches after 400, unless you're like
That one's from Nevada,
Ted
and
Williams or
that's a new
something.
discovery in 2017. So that's a new Jasper on the market that you'll see. Comes from the Dead Carmel Mountains in Nevada.
Is that blue? Is that guy who's on TV?
Okay?
What's his name?
Beth,
Desert-
what's the blue, is it
What?
Laramide? It looked blue in there, what was the blue color?
Cataracts.
Yeah,
It's got blues, it's got grays.
okay, it's a
Pretty.
blue, just come from copper, or it comes from fox,
What? It's probably volcanic ash. I'm just guessing. Desert Fire Jasper from Arizona. And that's a freeform piece. That's another new discovery. I can't read this thing, it's at an angle. So I have to back
Sure
on
you
it a little
can.
bit.
Dave moved it. You
There,
can
that's
move
better.
it, Beth.
It's called zebra agate sometimes, but it's actually a jasper.
What is it called? What was it? What did you
So
say?
it comes from Rodeo Flats, Sycamore Canyon, I don't know, these places in Arizona, Coles Ranch, and Gila County. Gila County, of course, got flooded away over Christopher Creek. Did you have a Desert Fire Jasper in your collection?
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
Okay, now you probably do have this green yellow stone. I think I put it in under G green.
Green yellow.
Green yellow stone, and was sold to me as a jasper. But you know, when I put it on the grinder, or I put it on the saw to cut it, and these little pieces, it went away. So it's not a jasper. But I put it in because it's sold as a jasper. It was sold as a jasper. And it makes pretty little stones, but they don't last because they erode away. It's very soft. Then you have a new one, another new one, hickoryite. Do you have hickoryite? H-word. And this is rhyolite.
Good.
Rhyolite's a type of volcanic rock, wonderstone, and it comes from Durango, Mexico. In 2008, it was sold as a new product.
What?
Yeah,
What was it?
that's what I read. Rare material. It's sold in beads, and it supposedly resembles the bark of a hickory tree, but it also comes from Montana. Leopard skin, do you have that?
Yes.
Do we have a leopard skin here on the table? I think you've all seen this. It's green and
Forest Jasper.
this is more like a
Piece of red to me.
Here's a, Dave calls this one.
Rainforest.
Everybody's
Rainforest.
seen those, I think, at this point.
And it's so named because, of course, it resembles leopard, a cat. But it's probably a type of rhyolite, but it takes a good polish, so they call it a jasper. All right, how do you polish leopard skin jasper?
Oh, this one's cool.
That's Dave's forte.
First you gotta get a muzzle on it.
A lot of the times, you can use a tumbler, but I like to use a tumbler with grooves in it. A lot of times you just have just a tumbler that's just round, and to me that doesn't do any good. But this one has had there's three bumps right on the inside. But I always use this.
Kinda like a cement
Let me pass it around.
Yeah. And what you do is you put half of the medium. You can use either round balls, stainless steel balls, or some with points on it, and some smaller, some bigger. But usually about half of it goes right in the container. After that's done, you put in all the stones in, and you get all the grooves out. And like I said, 600. That's what I go by. And then I put about 4 squirts of dish soap in it, and maybe one cleaner. Just one cleaner, that's it. And then I fill it up 3/4 with water. It doesn't take a lot of water, just a little bit. And then I just tumble it.
You ready for this? For how long?
Usually 40 minutes. 30, 40 minutes. You can leave it in there longer if you want, but it doesn't do any good.
So those pieces that you've been passing around, that's how you polish
Yes.
them?
Well, that's part of it, yeah. The other thing is I use a wheel polisher. Sometimes you use a flat polisher, just a flat piece polisher with leather on it, and you put some kind of powder on it. A lot of people use that, but I don't use that at all. I just use a regular polisher, and it brings out the
And I want
polish
to
right now.
remind you, remember, he won the People's Choice Award at the last show because of his high polish.
But yeah, I used to do it with a flat wheel for a long time. And then I switched to this place, and it's amazing. But we use, another thing I like to do is put, just attach just a piece of wood on it with, what do you call it, tape, or glue. Hot glue.
Hot milk.
Yeah, just hot glue. You put a little hot glue on it on the bottom, and you put a little bit on this thing and put them together and let it sit here for just a minute, and they're ready to go. Another thing I like about this is it doesn't come apart whether it's cold water or hot water, doesn't matter. But that's why I use these things. Anyway, after it's done polishing, I take it out and then I polish it. And it's pretty simple. A lot of people go through a lot of different ways of doing that. And I said, geez, that takes up too much time. But this is easy and it works good.
Okay, you do have some Llanite in your set. The labels are misspelled, I think. You have too many L's or not enough L's or something. Anyway.
ULs.
2L. This is microcline and euhedral quartz with rhyolite. Sometimes there's quartz crystals in it, and the unusual blue coloration of the quartz is thought to be due to Llanite. It's named for Llano County, Texas, which might be underwater right now, I don't know. But it's very, I want to say it's very rare. There's like only one place it comes from. Norina Jasper, that was that one piece we passed around. This one. And I think you have one in your set. This has got yellows and reds. And it's 6 million years old.
This is peanut wood from Australia also.
And then you've seen ocean jasper from Madagascar, the green. You're very familiar with that. I don't know what our chances are of getting more of that available. And then there's petrified wood. I know you have that in your set. And that's from Parker. And why is it orange?
It's persimmon wood.
Cinnamon. It was a cinnamon tree. What color is cinnamon? Orange.
Really?
It's a laurel tree. Remember the laurel tree? So it's orange to start with. It's not,
Where does the red in the Parker wood come from?
and of course it's out in Parker. Rainforest jasper is the green. You have rainforest?
Yes. Yep.
And that comes in from Western Australia also. And the gas bubbles were silicified. And it has quartz crystals, jasper, and other minerals. Rocky Butte jasper from, again, Oregon. Lots of colors. I assume that you can find this at the gem show. There are enough dealers. I can't tell you the importance of the volcanism, but this is 285,000 to 500,000 years ago, so 500,000. It doesn't take long for petrification to occur. Here's your Starburst Jasper. Sometimes it's called chrysanthemum jasper, and it comes in from Mexico. It's a rhyolite. The new one is Mukaite jasper, and again, it's from Western Australia. I don't really have
I have
it.
several boxes of it in my garage.
See Debbie if you need some.
Field trip at Deb's.
It's difficult because it's so fractured to get good solid pieces.
But she'll share.
Would it be, I mean, if you tried working on the wheel, do you think it would hold up, or would it just
Oh, no, I
come
think
apart?
if you
Glue
find,
it.
once you got a solid piece, but you might have to glue it. Did somebody say glue it?
Glue it, yeah.
Right, okay.
Two-part
I mean,
epoxy.
I'm not a lapidary person, I don't.
But she knows people who are.
Defer to the experts.
I hope she does.
Okay, Picassa. Now you'll see this sold as jasper, and it's not, it's a marble. It's soft, very soft. And
But it's sold as jasper.
between 4 and 5 on the scale of hardness. So don't call it a jasper, but sometimes it's called a jasper, and it's sold as a jasper. I think we all probably have 2 or 3 pieces of that. Pudding stone. Somebody was going to bring pudding stone,
He did.
That's
Yes, he did.
and he did.
But I want to hear what you say about it first.
Well, you want to hear. It's also known as pudding stone or plum pudding stone, and originally it's from England, but Pete's going to show us pieces from Michigan, because that's where it occurs in the United States. And where is your pudding stone, sir?
Well, as I am pleased to talk about, well, in partly with thoughts of Jane, who's not with us anymore. This was one of Jane's favorite kinds of rocks, I must say, okay? Jane being my wife, my late wife, who died a year ago, okay? She's, of course, was a Michigan native. And so pudding stone is used for conglomerates. Now, a conglomerate, of course, is a rock. It's a rock that was made of pebbles that was once a river gravel. So not all conglomerates necessarily have jasper in them. In fact, the original pudding stone from Herefordshire, England, I don't think is really jasper. I think it's just pebbles of
Pebbles
whatever.
of conglomerate.
But, so this one that is found in Michigan, but its bedrock source is in Canada, and it was brought south by the glaciers. It's also called the Jasper conglomerate because it has pebbles of, the distinctive thing is red and black jasper, okay? And it's called pudding stone, or it's called by a couple of location names as to where in the Michigan and Great Lakes area they find it. And I have a couple of nice polished pieces, which I couldn't lay my hands on, but I did have one, and this is actually one that we found, or that I think Jane found, around near where we still have a lake cottage in Michigan. And that's way down in southwest Michigan, so we're only getting kind of the dregs of what the glaciers carried down. There's not that many of these things, but we did find this. I'm not exactly sure that I remember where, but somewhere in the vicinity of where our cottage is, and I'll pass this around, and you can see it's got different shades of red jasper pebbles, and a couple of the black jasper pebbles, and it's a really neat thing. I must say that Jane learned that one way to find these, and they're hard to find anymore, and especially down in our part of Michigan, is she would learn, you go at the shopping centers and stuff where they have nice gravel landscaping that they bought from the sand and gravel places and got all these nice cobbles, and she just found some pretty cool rocks in them, and some of them, I must admit, we took home, but this one we found somewhere around our place, and actually when we had Jane's memorial service celebration of life on the 1-year anniversary of her passing here in this church, I brought in some of Jane's favorite rocks and things, and this was one that I had brought in there. So this is a very special to me, nice piece of that. They, one of the places where this is found in great abundance, the bedrock is Precambrian age, so it's very, very ancient, like our Front Range Precambrian rocks in Colorado. It's on the Ontario side of Lake Huron, okay, east of Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, kind of. And there's a large island there called St. Joseph's Island, which has quite a lot of this pudding stone was found there. And a few years ago on one of our trips to Michigan, Jane and I made a point of going to St. Joseph's Island, kind of like a pilgrimage. And we stayed in a motel there. And it's, in fact, I was just reading about it, I learned that it's the 6th largest lake island in the world, the 6th largest island in lakes in the world. And there's a bridge to it, it's not a real big bridge. So, and on that island, the town has all kinds of monuments and boulders, and every historical monument is erected on a big boulder of this, big boulders of this pudding stone, so which looks really neat, but you cannot find any on the island, or at least not, it's all private land anyway, but it's all been picked over of little pieces, so you can't go there expecting to find it. The actual bedrock source of it is on the mainland of Ontario, a little ways north, in an area called the Bruce Mines, and that's where they can actually find this in the bedrock. But most of what people find is in the glacial, the original name from England of calling this pudding stone, okay? And of course, most of us are not real familiar with plum pudding or whatever, and it describes pudding stone as, because it looked like boiled suet pudding with currants and red cherries. So that's the description of what pudding stone is.
Maybe we need to put it in our rocks that look like food.
Yeah, I think we do, yeah. Anyway, there you go, pudding stone.
Amazing stuff.
The next one, you have Jasper, Wavy Jasper, which is actually not a Jasper. It's Dolomite, and probably would fizz with acid. But it's pretty old, and it's stromatolitic, so it's like limestone, it's soft. But you'll see that sold as Jasper.
So
Dolomite's
Another
pretty
one
soft
you're
as
gonna
well.
see sold as Jasper is Bumblebee. Bumblebee is not Jasper. Listen to the ingredients. Volcanic matter,
I'm quite dumb when it comes to the rock.
something hematite, sulfur, arsenic,
Yum.
Yeah, yum.
anhydrite. And it's from Indonesia.
Realga.
They call it the poisonous tree.
Yeah, calcite. It's not a jasper at all. There's no silica to speak of in that rock. So, I'm not gonna buy it. It's got arsenic in it. No, thank you.
No, it's just,
Mr. Pfeiffer will buy it.
you just don't do it very often.
No.
Arlene's probably, have you ever worked with that?
Okay, the newest one I found is Indonesia,
Yeah.
Maligano Jasper, and it's kind of a bluish gray. And this one just came in, just coming in now. It's found in ancient volcanic hot springs, and it's found about 10 years ago in Indonesia. So you're going to see that probably at some of the dealers. So, that's all we have. Thank you for coming to our new home. I hope